Hey yo, what is up guys? Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and today we're going to be deleting the ABS and making new brake lines so I can actually stop. And we're going to be doing that with the parts that finally just came in the mail today. First things first, I got this copper nickel 3/16 brake line that I'm going to be using because it's way easier to bend and flare and get into place. Secondly is this Jegs T fitting. That way I can combine the two rear brake lines to come out to one. And that'll be going to my Wilwood proportioning valve that I can actually adjust. This is only for the rear adjustment though, but this thing's pretty cool. You put the front, that FI is front in, rear in. There's two front outs and one rear out. So this only controls both rear brakes at the same time. So that'll be really nice. I'll be able to adjust how much, and it also had a sensor on front, but I don't need that. So I already went ahead and capped that off. And then I got this Titan double flaring tool because you obviously have to flare your brake lines. I read some reviews, looked at all the different types of one. It took me like an hour just to figure out which tool I wanted, but I went ahead and got this one. So we're going to be seeing how well this works. So right here I drew up a little diagram to make it easier for myself and y'all to understand. So here's my stock master cylinder. I'm going to have the two outputs on the master cylinder go to the two front and rear inputs on the proportioning valve, and off of that one of them is going to go to one front brake, the other one's going to go to the other front brake, and then off the rear output it's going to go to the T, which is then going to adapt to my two rear wheels. So nothing too complicated, but it's just a matter of routing them all in the engine bay. I kept my stock brake lines as long as I could, thinking that I might be able to reuse them, but I'm going to go ahead and just chop them and take it all the way back to where it connects in the inside of the body. So one thing that's going to make this a little bit more difficult in my case, nothing too complicated, but so the stock flare line or whatever is an M10 by 1.0 fitting, and it does not fit into the Wilwood or the Jegs. The Wilwood and Jegs are actually a 3/8 by 24 flare fitting, so I'm going to have to adapt. So I'll have like one side be the M10 by 1.0 and the other side be the 3/8 by 24, which isn't too complicated because it's not like they'll be close to each other at all. But I'm going to be having to do that and whatnot. So I was contemplating for quite a while to figure out where exactly to mount this proportioning valve. They make little brackets that actually come off the master cylinder bolts that would put it like that or like that, but I'm scared it's going to get too much in the way of the K-series valve cover and the big ass intake manifold that I have coming off of it. And then I also have the lines coming out of the right side, so I'd almost have to come over it, which I didn't want to do. I want to keep this looking clean as possible. Thought about like over here or whatnot, and I think I figured out that I'm going to mount it straight to this strut tower. But without further ado, let's get this shit mounted on my car. Alright, so after practicing for a while, I went ahead and got the first two brake lines mocked up. They were kind of difficult, having to get these tight bends in and then cutting them right and then flaring them with that bend there. So I had to like pull it back, unbend it, put it back, you know, whatever. But regardless, it is really strong right here, so I don't even think I actually need to mount it. And it leaves plenty of space to actually run the brake lines down to where they need to go. So let's move on to that part next. Alright, so I got them both cut, and I had to take this little sheathing off, which was a pain in the ass because it's like adhesive on, so I had to pretty much scrape it all off. But I got the two fittings on, and I got them met up approximately where they're going to be at. You know, I can still bend them. I bent them quite a bit, and they're still, you know, holding up pretty good. But in other news, I now have a 55-inch TV in the shop because my dad bought a new TV for the living room. As you can see, this one's kind of messed up, the screen, but I don't really care. So now I have a completely massive TV in the shop, taking up that whole corner while I'm working. Alright, so not the cleanest final product, but it is in place. I wanted to be able to put it right above that little AC inlet there and right below the wiper motor. And it works pretty well. I can bend it a little bit more to get it flush, because right now it just kind of wants to hang. And I can't screw it right there because that is my you know, VIN number. So I'm probably gonna like put a little clamp right on that beam and just kind of tie it up right there, and then I can run the second line, or the line off the T to this rear out right there. And then after that, I just got to go to the other front wheel, and I will be complete with that. And just like that, I got the Wilwood proportioning valve completely lined up. Everything ran where it needs to be. I think it turned out pretty good, other than this little top part and this thing right here. Like I said, I can't drill it in because the VIN tag, so I'm going to figure out how to mount that. But other than that, I think it came out pretty good for my first time ever working with the flaring tool and brake line. So if I can do it, y'all can do it. So unfortunately, I can't test for leaks, but you know, all you do is fill it up with fluid and start pumping your brakes, get all the air out. There's going to be a shit ton of air with fresh lines like that. But one thing that I did is all the flares didn't come out perfect, but since it is copper, if you just tighten the fuck out of it, it actually kind of forms to it. I tried it once. I had like a little crease on the flare, and whenever I tightened it, it actually went away and formed perfectly. So if I got any leaks, I'll just go through and tighten it again. Hopefully I don't have to you know, remake the line, or you know, cut it and reflare it or anything like that. But I just hope my brakes are gonna feel amazing now, because if we look over here, these are my OEM brakes, just regular fucking base model Impreza brakes, single piston, and the rear are actually drum. And then these are 2007 Impreza brakes, so they're dual piston front and I think single piston rear. So I'm going to be doing the disc brake rear conversion as well as the larger brakes up front as well. Unfortunately, I'm not able to source any STI parts. You know, it's kind of hard to find my body style STI, but I may work something out before I actually throw it in, because it's not even in the car yet, because I still got to plumb everything else. But anyways, guys, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Follow my 2 Instagrams right here. That way y'all can kind of see some behind the scenes and whatnot. I'm really loving this build. I'm actually getting to, you know, put my mechanic skills to the test and broadcast it all for y'all. Trying to make these videos great. Thank y'all so much, and peace.